Hello, Leo. Let me be clear, this is not just another horoscope. This is your cosmic wake-up call for May 14th, a danger day that could shift your entire path if you're not deeply, consciously aware. And if you're watching this, it's not by accident. The universe brought you here, on purpose. Today's energy isn't simply intense, it's transformative. It's the kind of day when one impulsive decision, one overlooked feeling, one ignored whisper of intuition, can reroute the direction of your life. That's not meant to scare you. It's meant to empower you to choose with awareness, to act from clarity. Let me ask you something. Have you been feeling on edge lately, like something's coming, but you can't quite name it? That's because the cosmic weather is real. It's emotional, electric, and calling you to center yourself before the next wave crashes in. And this May 14th is one of those waves. You didn't find this video. This video found you. And if your soul said yes to pressing play, then it's because there's a message here for you, one that you are ready to receive. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through why May 14th is a cosmic pressure point for your sign, what the cards are revealing about your health, your money, and your fate, and how to rise, not with fear, but with focus, faith, and fierce self-awareness. But first, let me take a moment to thank you. Your presence here means more than you know. Every like, every comment, every share, every time you hit that subscribe button, you bring this channel to life. You make eternal mindfulness a sanctuary, a space where messages like this can reach the right hearts at the right time. From the deepest part of mine, thank you. Your support is sacred, and it fuels every word I speak here. And Leo, I mean this from my heart, you'll want to stay with me until the very end of this reading. Because what the universe is revealing today isn't just dramatic, it's divine. This isn't just about warnings, it's about breakthroughs that are only possible if you listen closely now. So before we go any further, I invite you to ground this moment. Comment below with the angel number that's been showing up for you lately, yes, the one you keep seeing, and add this affirmation. I choose to act with light and wisdom on May 14th. Because you're not powerless in this storm. You're not lost. You are the lighthouse. You are the signal fire. You are not here to react, you are here to rise. Take a deep breath with me. Hold space for your own clarity. And let's step fully into this cosmic moment, together. The energy of May 14th does not come to disrupt you, it comes to awaken you. And as we step deeper into this moment together, the cards revealed, the Fool, the Tower, and Temperance, are not simply symbols of fate. They are mirrors, each reflecting a piece of your internal landscape, inviting you to see more clearly, act more wisely, and remember the power that already lives within you. This is not just about interpreting cards, this is about interpreting life as it's unfolding right now, with precision, compassion, and courage. The Fool appears first, fresh and open, full of curiosity. But its presence here isn't a carefree invitation to leap without looking, it's a sacred pause. It whispers to you, look again. Not everything new is meant to be embraced without discernment. The Fool carries the spirit of freedom, yes, but also the lesson that every step must be anchored in awareness. Sometimes, it's not about how far you're willing to leap, it's about whether you're truly ready to carry the responsibility of where you might land. Then comes the Tower, often misunderstood. To the untrained eye, it may seem like destruction, collapse, or loss. But you, Leo, are being asked to see it differently. The Tower doesn't fall to punish, it falls to reveal. It tears down what was built on shaky ground, what no longer aligns with truth, what has outlived its sacred purpose. And in doing so, it frees you. What breaks today isn't meant to be mourned, it's meant to be honored, released, and cleared, so something more real can emerge. Sometimes, the most merciful act the universe can offer is to remove what we've been clinging to out of fear, pride, or habit. You are not losing. You are being reshaped. And then, in the quiet after the storm, arrives temperance. It doesn't speak loudly, it hums gently through your breath, your body, your inner rhythm. It reminds you that not everything requires immediate reaction. That true alignment isn't achieved by force, but by harmony. This card is a teacher of the middle way, of balance not just between rest and work, but between your expectations and your acceptance, between your striving and your surrender. It reminds you to regulate the fire inside, because the brightest flame still needs fuel and focus. And perhaps today, the boldest choice you can make is not to push, but to pause. This sequence is not random. It reflects a sacred process we all move through, the innocence of beginning, the discomfort of truth, and the peace that follows once we stop resisting. It's easy to seek comfort in clarity, but today, life is offering you something more valuable, a chance to sit with uncertainty without being consumed by it. A moment to let things fall without rushing to rebuild. A breath of space where you're no longer reacting, but simply being. There is a teaching, older than language, that says, when the mind is still, the path becomes clear. Not because the path changes, but because you do. This is that moment. You don't need to rush toward the next thing, fix what's falling, or numb what you feel. You only need to meet this day with honesty, with presence, with grace. So breathe. Let whatever is collapsing, collapse. Let whatever is rising, rise. Hold both with equal gentleness. And trust that your awareness, your presence, is the most powerful guide you could ever follow. This is not a day to conquer. This is a day to remember who you are beyond all the noise. And that, Leo, is how you turn a danger day into a day of quiet revolution. When it comes to the heart, Leo, timing is everything, and today's energy invites you into one of those delicate moments where your emotions, if left unchecked, could lead you toward illusions that feel like love but are really reflections of longing. As we move deeper into the energy of May 14th, you may feel your heart stir in unexpected ways. Someone from your past might resurface, whispering words you've longed to hear. Or perhaps a new presence arrives, magnetic and seemingly perfect, stirring something raw and hopeful in you. But today, it's not about how loud your heart beats. It's about whether you can discern what it's really trying to say. Love, in its purest form, is a state of awareness, not just emotion. And on days like this, when emotions are heightened and cosmic energies stir up old patterns, your awareness becomes your compass. This is not the time to rush into declarations or decisions, no matter how intense the feeling. It's a time to gently observe what arises without becoming what arises. You might feel tempted to romanticize something simply because it fills a space you didn't realize was empty. Or to hold on to someone tighter out of fear they might leave, not because love is growing, but because insecurity is flaring. Real love doesn't require urgency. It doesn't demand you prove anything. It doesn't push or pull. And on this day, where the heart feels more exposed and more reactive, your task is not to chase the emotion, but to hold space for it, to let it pass through like a wave, and to see what remains when the tide settles. What you feel today may not be false, but it may not yet be grounded in the truth either. Sometimes, the mind can shape a story so convincing that the heart forgets to ask, is this real, or is this familiar? And that's a powerful question for you now. Familiarity can feel safe, even if it's painful. And novelty can feel thrilling, even if it's fleeting. The deeper inquiry today is, am I being drawn to connection, or to escape? Am I seeking love, or relief from loneliness? This is where discernment meets self-compassion. You don't need to judge yourself for feeling vulnerable, open, or uncertain. That's not weakness, it's humanity. But you do need to be honest with yourself. To pause before reacting. To listen before speaking. And above all, to understand that love doesn't just appear to fill a gap, it arrives to reveal you to yourself. In teachings passed down quietly for generations, there is an understanding that the greatest clarity comes not when we analyze emotion, but when we sit with it, without needing to name it, fix it, or escape it. In stillness, the heart becomes its own mirror. What reflects back may not always be what we expect, but it's always what we need to see. If you're in a relationship today, let space be the act of love. Resist the urge to control, to push, or to punish with silence. Speak from presence, not from pain. And if you're single, let today be a day where you fall in love not with someone else, but with your own capacity to wait, to know, and to feel deeply without needing to act. Because real love doesn't demand urgency. It invites patience. And patience, when rooted in clarity, becomes the soil where genuine connection grows, not just with others, but within yourself. Let that be your guide today. Let that be enough. When the Tower card influences the realm of finances and career, it doesn't show up to destroy, it arrives to clarify. And for Leo on May 14th, this energy is especially important. What appears to be a golden opportunity may, upon closer inspection, reveal hidden cracks. Not because you're unlucky, not because you're doing something wrong, but because you are being invited to pause and observe. The truth is, not all movement is progress, and not all offers are blessings. Sometimes, stillness is the most courageous and strategic action you can take. There is a certain pressure that surrounds the energy of abundance, especially for someone like you, Leo, who is naturally drawn to success, expression, and recognition. But real power is never built on impulse. It's cultivated through discernment. This is one of those days when saying, "not yet," is wiser than rushing to say, "yes." If you feel the urge to commit quickly, to sign, to spend, to invest, to prove something, ask yourself what part of you is truly making that choice. Is it grounded in clarity, or is it seeking comfort, validation, or escape? Financial energy is also emotional energy. People often think of money as purely material, but it moves according to internal tides: desire, fear, scarcity, pride. On days like today, those tides are higher and more unstable. You might feel the temptation to spend to soothe, to purchase something beautiful in order to momentarily ease an inner imbalance. But real fulfillment doesn't come from transactions, it comes from alignment. So before you reach for your wallet, ask, am I feeding a need, or avoiding a truth? There's a teaching that says, the wisest choices are often made in silence, not in reaction. That lesson applies strongly now. If a decision feels rushed, pressured, or driven by urgency, it likely needs more time to unfold. And if something seems too perfect, too easy, too shiny, it's not necessarily wrong, but it is worth a second look. Transparency and timing matter more than appearances. This is not about fear, it's about flow. The universe isn't trying to block your success, it's helping you remove what's false so you can build something lasting. Sometimes a delay is the most powerful protection. Sometimes not getting what you thought you wanted is the exact grace you didn't know you needed. This is how long-term success is formed, not from speed, but from precision. From a willingness to wait, not out of hesitation, but out of mastery. Your energy today is valuable. Where you direct your focus, time, and trust will ripple far beyond this moment. If you protect your energy now, you will thank yourself later. If you resist the urge to fix, to prove, or to chase, what's truly meant for you will find you, stronger and clearer than before. And don't forget that career isn't just about achievement, it's about contribution. Sometimes what looks like stagnation is actually incubation. Your ideas, your goals, your path forward, they're not broken just because they're not happening fast. They're maturing. And you, Leo, are evolving too. So honor the slow moments. Honor the quiet decisions. Let the tower do its work, not to shake your foundation, but to strengthen it. By removing what no longer supports you, it makes room for what truly will. And as you walk forward, remember, just because something looks urgent doesn't mean it deserves your urgency. Let wisdom set the pace. Let presence guide the plan. You don't have to be in a hurry when you're already on the right path. Energy is sacred, and on days like May 14th, it becomes the most honest measure of your internal state. For Leo, whose nature is ruled by fire, expressive, bold, passionate, this day holds a subtle challenge. Not in the form of outside obstacles, but in the way your own vibrant intensity can spill over and start to consume you. The same fire that drives your ambition and fuels your creativity can, if unchecked, leave you feeling drained, reactive, or emotionally brittle. This is the paradox of your light. It must be nourished, not overused. You might notice yourself snapping at small things, feeling unusually restless or fatigued despite everything looking fine on the surface. This is not weakness. It's simply your system signaling that it's operating beyond its sustainable limit. You see, energy is not only physical, it's emotional, mental, and energetic all at once. And when one layer is imbalanced, the others begin to distort as well. When your nervous system is in a prolonged state of overdrive, it becomes harder to think clearly, harder to feel joy, and harder to trust your own instincts. Even your motivation can feel like it's flickering, here one moment, gone the next. The wisdom of this moment lies in learning to regulate your flame, not extinguish it, but soften it into something steady. This isn't about pulling back from life, it's about becoming more selective about what you give your energy to. Ask yourself, what's fueling me today, and what's just depleting me? Not every call for your attention is worth answering. Not every demand is yours to carry. And on this day, you are being asked to listen more closely, to your breath, to your body, and to that still place within you that doesn't shout, but simply knows. There is a practice passed down through ancient observation that speaks of the middle way, the art of staying centered without clinging or resisting. In the context of energy, it teaches us that balance isn't something you achieve once and for all. It's something you return to, moment by moment, decision by decision. Like choosing to pause before responding. Like choosing to rest, not because you've earned it, but because you're allowed to need it. These small acts are not indulgent, they're intelligent. They are acts of self-preservation in the most grounded sense. Let this be your reminder that you do not have to be everything to everyone today. That productivity is not your worth. That even the brightest stars retreat behind the clouds sometimes, not to disappear, but to recalibrate. You, too, are allowed to step back in order to step forward with greater clarity. Give yourself simple practices. A quiet walk without a destination. 10 minutes of stillness without needing to understand why. Turning off your screen earlier, not out of discipline, but out of care. Drinking water slowly, as though it were a gift. These aren't tricks, they're signals to your whole being that you are here, that you are enough, and that you are safe to slow down. Because Leo, you don't shine by pushing harder. You shine by honoring your own rhythm. The flame within you is meant to illuminate, not to burn through you. And the more gently you tend to it now, the more fully it will rise when the time is right. You're not losing your light, you're learning how to carry it with wisdom. Let today be the day you start listening, not to the noise outside, but to the quiet truth inside. That's where your real strength lives. The energy of May 14th continues to unfold not just through your personal state or career landscape, but through the quiet undercurrents of your relationships, especially the ones closest to your heart. And what makes this day particularly sensitive is not what people say, but what remains unspoken. When emotional energy runs high, as it does today, even the softest misunderstandings can echo louder than intended. A sigh, a glance, a delay in response, things you might usually overlook can suddenly feel charged. This isn't a sign of collapse, but of intensity. And the invitation here is not to react, but to pause. When your inner fire is already stirred, it's easy to project discomfort outward. But every relationship has seasons, times of warmth, times of silence, and times when space is the kindest offering we can give each other. If you find yourself misread, or if someone you love seems distant, resist the impulse to fix it right away. Not because it isn't worth mending, but because clarity grows in stillness. Forcing resolution too quickly can deepen the disconnect. And sometimes, the most loving thing you can do is step back, take a breath, and trust that understanding will return when the emotional waves settle. There's a quiet wisdom in knowing when not to speak. When the mind is flooded and the heart is tender, words can become weapons, even if unintentionally. So today, let restraint be your strength. Let compassion be expressed through patience. Not every tension demands a conversation. Not every discomfort needs a solution in this exact moment. Some things need silence to soften. And sometimes, silence is not distance, it's a form of care. This is also a powerful time to reflect on the quality of the connections you're nurturing. As you grow, the people who walk beside you will shift. Not all bonds are meant to last a lifetime. Some are chapters, not entire stories. And that's not loss, it's life. This doesn't mean shutting people out, but becoming more discerning about who has access to your energy, your vulnerability, your truth. Ask yourself, who truly sees me, even when I'm not at my best? Who can sit with me in my silence, not just my success? There's an old teaching that says, better to walk alone than with those who take you away from yourself. On days like this, that wisdom becomes especially clear. The aim is not isolation, it's alignment. You don't need more voices in your life, you need the right ones. Those who uplift without expectation. Those who listen without judgment. Those who stay not because of what you offer, but because of who you are when all your walls are down. And remember, Leo, being strong doesn't mean being invulnerable. You are allowed to protect your peace. You are allowed to rest from roles that exhaust you. You are allowed to withdraw in order to return stronger. Just as the sun sets each night to rise again with power, you too can pull back without losing your light. So if tensions surface today, hold them gently. If communication falters, let it breathe. If connections feel uncertain, don't rush to define them. Let time reveal what's true. Let presence heal what's strained. And most of all, stay connected to yourself. Because when you're rooted in your own clarity, you become the grounding force that every healthy relationship is built upon. That's not just emotional intelligence, it's love in its most spacious, resilient form. Leo, if you're still here, still listening, still feeling this message in your heart, then you already know this wasn't just another horoscope reading. This was a mirror. A turning point. A quiet invitation to remember what you've always known deep down, that May 14th was never meant to break you, it was meant to awaken you. Maybe some moments today felt heavy. Maybe a few conversations triggered old doubts. Or maybe you caught yourself about to react from fear, only to pause and ask, is this who I want to be? That pause alone, that space between reaction and awareness, that is where transformation begins. Because nothing changes unless you choose it. And that's what today has been all about. Not control. Not perfection. But choice. Conscious, grounded, soul-aligned choice. You were never meant to live on autopilot. Not with your kind of fire. Not with your kind of soul. So if the universe brought a little chaos today, or a little silence where you expected connection, maybe it wasn't rejection. Maybe it was redirection. Maybe it was realignment. Maybe it was your own higher self, shaking the ground just enough to say, this way, not that one. So now I ask you, what are you choosing going forward? Are you choosing to lead with old habits or new wisdom? Are you choosing to stay in cycles that drain you, or to step boldly into unknowns that hold space for your evolution? And what will it look like, Leo, if you finally stop waiting for the perfect moment, and start becoming the version of yourself that no longer needs permission? What if you stopped just surviving the day, and started shaping it? I want you to take a moment, right now, and comment below one affirmation that speaks to your soul. You can borrow mine if you need one. I choose clarity and peace on May 14th. I open the door to my highest destiny. Because when you speak that into existence, you do more than type it, you claim it. You align your voice, your will, and your light into a single current. And that current can move mountains. So don't underestimate what happens when you declare your intention, especially on a day when energy moves fast, and every choice plants a seed. If this video resonated with you, if even one sentence made you pause, breathe deeper, or see yourself more clearly, please take a moment to like, to subscribe, to share this with someone else who may be standing at a threshold and need a little light to cross it. That is how we ripple out together. That is how light expands. Not in grand gestures, but in sincere presence, shared from one soul to another. Leo, you are not here just to push through hard days. You are here to rise from them. You are here to become more whole, not more hardened. So let this day be the day you remember. You don't need more time, you need more truth. You don't need more validation, you need more connection to yourself. And when that connection is strong, no storm outside you can shake the calm within. You are not falling. You are finding your footing. You are not behind. You are becoming. And you're not lost. You're learning how to navigate by your own inner light. Stay with that. Stay with yourself. And thank you, truly, for being here with me, with eternal mindfulness, on this journey. I see your courage. I honor your process. And I believe in the path that only you can walk. Let's keep walking it, together.